Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If transmigrated into One Piece and became a Marine. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Quick update. The series What If transmigrated into One Piece and became a Marine is now on hold, since we've at the end of the story. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these three fanfics. What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? What if a venerated soul reincarnated in Danmachi world? What if transmigrated and taking over Ichigo's body? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 271, let's do it. Throne Room, Pangea Castle, Mary Geos. The grandeur of the throne room was out of this world with the empty throne at its center. Imu, seated upon the throne, looked at the 5 elder planets below him. The 5 elders knelt on one knee, heads bowed to show utmost respect to the enigmatic figure before them. To them, Imu's authority was absolute. But, the recent failures made them feel heavy and remorseful in their hearts. St. J. Garcia Saturn spoke first, his voice filled with shame. "Forgive me, great Imu. I failed to retrieve the mother flame from Vegapunk's hands. Blaze intervened personally, and I was no match for him." Imu's gaze remained fixed on the elders as he spoke. Mu * knows about him. I sensed his haki not long ago. It is indeed remarkable. His growth has surpassed Mu * expectations. He stated that he would come for you, Saturn continued. If I'm not mistaken, he will strike tonight. He intends to give us no time to gather our forces to retaliate. St. Mars added, we are short of manpower without Marines under our command. Moreover, half of the God's Knights in CP0 were completely wiped out. Imu's expression remained indecipherable, betraying no sign of fear or concern. Mu * has to praise his audacity, but that may be his downfall. Let him come. Tonight, the true power of the world government will be once again revealed. Yes, the 5 elder saints rose from their kneeling position and responded. We will be ready by the time he comes, Imu-sama. We shall gather our forces and ensure that Mary Geos is braced for the battle. Above the red line. The sun was setting, casting a fiery glow over the horizon and bathing the land in a deep orange hue. Nearly 50 kilometers away from Mary Geos, the revolutionaries gathered along with Madara, Jax, Akira, and the members of the demon squad who had been personally trained by Madara. The atmosphere was solemn, with most of them serious and calm, prepared for the upcoming battle. Monkey D. Dragon stood at the forefront, gazing dreamily in the direction of Mary Geos. What are you thinking, Dragon-san? Sabo, who stood beside Dragon, asked, breaking the silence. Dragon let out a sigh, his gaze still fixed in the distance. I didn't expect we'd confront the world government so soon. All of this feels surreal. At this stage, it's not defeat that worries me, but our victory. What are we going to do then? It's not too late to think about that after we win, Sabo chuckled. Dragon shook his head. Some distance away, Jax was chattering lively with Madara. Despite Madara's stoic exterior and the irritation etched on his face, he enjoyed Jax's lively personality. It reminded him of his old friend Hashirama, a man who was excitable, boisterous, headstrong, and often impulsive. Akira stood beside them with her eyes closed, composing herself to ensure she was in peak condition for the upcoming battle. The rest of the army commanders, Emporio Ivankov, Karasu, Belobetti, Morley, and Lindbergh, were also present, along with their deputy captains and members. They were busy issuing commands and finalizing strategies for the upcoming battle. At that moment, Blaze appeared, accompanied by Regis and Kuina. Their sudden arrival drew the attention of the gathered revolutionaries, signaling that the time for battle had come. Dragon stepped forward, his eyes meeting Blaze's. Are we good to go? Blaze nodded, his expression calm. Yes, Dragon. We're doing it now. There's no backing down. Good, Dragon said. Blaze then handed over 3 Danmachi with conical spiral shells to Sabo. Here, these are from Vegapunk. This Danmachi is unique. I haven't seen one like this, Jax remarked, examining the snail closely. Madara and Akira also came over. Sabo's curiosity was also piqued. What do they do, Blaze-san? This is called the transmission Danmachi. It is a visual Danmachi capable of broadcasting across the world. It was developed personally by Vegapunk and is considered part of his research. With this, we can broadcast our battle live to the entire world. Hearing this, Dragon understood Blaze's plan. You planned very well, Blaze. As expected of you. If we win, it will stabilize the world. Looking at Madara, who seemed lost in thought, Blaze asked, What happened, Madara? You look spaced out. Madara snapped back to attention and replied in an indifferent tone. Nothing. Blaze chuckled. I know you better than you know yourself. I guess you're missing your friend Hashirama. Madara snorted, crossing his arms. Don't be ridiculous. Why would I miss someone who killed me? Blaze's thoughts sounded silently in Madara's mind. Don't worry. I will cancel the summon after a few days, and you can return to your world. But before that, witness with your own eyes how we change this world. Madara simply stayed silent. Blaze then turned his attention to Kuina, Jax, and Akira. You 3 have come a long way, but you're still young. Stick together and stay safe. Blaze-san, Jax interjected with a playful smirk, we're not kids anymore. Maybe it's time you had one, considering how protected you're getting. I've been thinking the same, Blaze unexpectedly nodded with a small smile. Hancock and I decided to try once everything is over. Jax, who was expecting a scolding, looked at him in shock. What? They didn't expect Blaze would respond like that. Blaze then turned to Dragon and said, Dragon, it's time. Let's do it. Amen. Dragon turned to face the assembled group, numbering nearly 2,500. His voice rang with power and resolution to bring change. Prepare yourselves, everyone. Today is your chance to change the world. Show your strength to the people of the world government. Remember why you fight and who you fight for. Emporio Ivankov raised both her fists in enthusiasm and shouted, Hee-ha. Let's do it, boys, for freedom. Blaze-san, say something. Jax whispered in his ear, forcing Blaze to kick him far away. Blaze then stepped forward, his aura radiating confidence and incredible haki. I see some of you are feeling nervous. Don't worry, I'll handle the mysterious figure and the 5 elders. With me here, they won't stand a chance. Your task is to confront the world government forces protecting the celestial dragons. Together, we will change the world. As Blaze finished speaking, Sabo raised his hand and clenched his fist. Let's do it! The gathered forces felt a surge of excitement, roaring at the top of their lungs. The upcoming battle would determine the future of the world, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, even if it meant facing death. Chapter 272, Live Broadcast Across the World. Holy Land Mary Geos. Blaze's figure appeared outside the gates of Mary Geos, his presence like a bright flame in the darkness. As if expecting his arrival, the 5 elders, Cypher Pole, world government agents, and a few armored figures, the remaining god knights, stood at the entrance, blocking his path. Blaze and the 5 elder saints locked gazes. There was tension and silence in the air, like the calm before the storm. Blaze's expression remained indifferent, while the 5 elders' faces contorted with rage, their eyes blazing with the intent to kill. We should have killed you when we had the chance, Saint Nusturo spat. Indeed. But, you had your chance and you missed it, Blaze responded casually. Now, it's my time. Are you prepared? An overwhelming momentum surged from Blaze, his Haushiko haki exploding outward in streaks of dark purple lightning that crackled in all directions. The sky above darkened with ominous clouds as if welcoming the world's end. The sheer force of Blaze's haki was unlike anything the five elders had ever encountered. Even with their immense strength, they were affected by the haki pressure. Some of the weaker Cypher Pole agents were knocked unconscious instantly, collapsing to the ground. What a strong conqueror's haki! Everyone thought, struggling to withstand the overwhelming force. Don't fall into his momentum. Strike with all you've got. He's nothing but another man, St. Marcus Mars said, dispelling the overwhelming presence of Blaze with his own. Is that so? Blaze's tone was full of amusement as he stood with his hands behind his back. I'll give you all a chance. I won't move for a minute. Attack me with all you've got, because I won't show mercy after that. Hearing his brazen statement, the elder saints didn't ignore it as mere arrogance. Instead, they took it seriously and coordinated their efforts with everyone present to attack. In no time, a relentless barrage of attacks rained down on Blaze. Inside the throne room, Emu watched the battle unfold with cold eyes. The sheer momentum and haki displayed by Blaze made it clear that the defeat of the five elders was inevitable. Yet, Emu remained unfazed. Blaze Hunt, he murmured. Meanwhile, high above the battlefield, Dragon, Sebo, Madara, Jax, Akira, and the Revolutionary Army watched world government forces attack Blaze, from clouds conjured by Jax. The sky was ablaze with flashes of haki and devil fruit powers, while the center of the battlefield was a storm of clashing abilities and techniques. Despite the chaos below, they remained unworried, fully aware of Blaze's formidable strength. In fact, some of them regard Blaze as someone who can't be defeated by mere mortals. Is it ready? Sebo asked. Yes, Regis replied. It has already started to record. Blaze-san seems to have concealed the Danmachi with some kind of ability, making it invisible to the naked eye. It can only be felt with top-notch observation haki. Okay. Let's do our part. Everyone's its time. Under Sebo's command, their forces invaded Mary Geos. Back on the battlefield, the five elders combined their powers in a desperate attempt to overpower Blaze. They unleashed a series of devastating attacks, each one capable of leveling mountains and destroying islands. But Blaze met them head-on, not moving an inch from his place. The combined might of everyone's attacks triggered shockwaves that rippled through the air, shaking the very foundations of Mary Geos. But none of the attacks, sword slashes or devil fruit abilities, touched him. They suspended in midair just a few centimeters away from him. A minute passed, and Blaze remained in his position, his hands still behind his back. Forget about touching his skin, not a single attack wobbled his clothes. Seeing this, everyone on the world government side retreated with a look of shock and surprise. Damn! What kind of ability is this? It doesn't look like a devil fruit ability, St. Warcury cursed, as he even Seastone failed to break the invisible barrier. I think it's some kind of space technique, St. Saturn, who had experienced it before, expressed his thoughts. Our attacks aren't being stopped, they're being slowed down infinitely, preventing them from reaching him. Correct. But you guys lost your opportunity, now, it's my turn. Blaze smiled and took a step forward. Everyone, be careful. St. Topman Warcury warned, his voice tense. The other elder saints also went on high alert, their eyes locked onto Blaze, ready for his next move. At that moment, the world was thrown into turmoil as a sudden live broadcast began playing on major islands around the world, excluding the uninhabited ones. The scene of the battle at Mary Geos played before the eyes of countless people. The live broadcast caught people off guard, but the content playing on it left everyone stunned. What is the broadcast showing? Is it some kind of conflict between pirates and marines? And no. It's Holy Land Mary Geos. Someone is attacking Holy Land Mary Geos and broadcasting it live. It can't be. Who would dare attack the whole land of celestial dragons? F***CK. It's Marine Fleet Admiral Blaze, the strongest man in the world. What is he doing there? It seems he's the one attacking Mary Geos. Some people speculated since the conflict between them isn't a secret, after all. It's huge. Something huge is happening. The live broadcast attracted the attention of everyone. Amazon Lily. It has started, Hancock said, her eyes fixed on Blaze's figure standing with his hands behind his back, the familiar landscape of Mary Geos in the background of the live broadcast. Moby Dick, Whitebeard Pirates ship. On the deck of the Moby Dick, the Whitebeard pirates watched the sudden broadcast with wide eyes. Marco, Ace, Jozu, Vista, and the other commanders couldn't believe what they were seeing. What is he doing? Ace stared at the screen. Oyaji, Marco called out to Whitebeard, who was seated in his throne-like chair and watching the broadcast while enjoying wine. Whitebeard's laughter roared across the deck. Garararara! The world is about to be turned upside down. Marco, it's time to fulfill our promise. On an island belonging to the red-haired pirates, Shanks and his crew watched the broadcast with serious expressions. The normally jovial crew was silent, understanding the gravity of the ongoing battle. He really attacked Mary Geos? Ben Beckman mused, exhaling a cloud of smoke. Looks like it, Shanks said with a chuckle. Ha, it's time for us to make our move. On one of the islands belonging to the Big Mom pirates, Big Mom's children watched the broadcast with interest. As for Big Mom, she hasn't woken up from her coma. What's this? An attack on Mary Geos? Paraspero said, his candy-themed cane clutched tightly. This man is insane. Similar things happened in Onigashima, the beast pirate's stronghold. Kaido watched everything, fully drunk. The kings of various kingdoms around the world were taken aback by the broadcast. Reactions ranged from excitement and shock to fear and uncertainty. This is unprecedented, murmured King Cobra of Alabasta. What will become of the world if they lose? Conversations like these rippled across the world, as people from every corner reacted to the live broadcast with shock, curiosity, and speculations about the impending changes that it would bring. Chapter 273, Target, Celestial Dragons. A little away from Mary Geos. Before Blaze's arrival, the 5 elder saints had gathered all the celestial dragons and moved them to an underground fortified hall for safety. Celestial dragons, wearing their signature bubble masks, crowded the hall. The atmosphere was chaotic with curses and tantrums. Suddenly, the expressions of all the celestial dragons, who had been gathered there without any notice, changed drastically as they heard the sounds of battle outside. What's happening out there? Is this why we were gathered here, just because of some lowlifes attacking the Holy Land? Unable to answer them, one of the world government agents used a projection Danmachi to show the scene outside. A large screen displayed the world government forces fighting Blaze and a group of revolutionaries invading Mary Geos. These damn low-class people. How dare they attack our Holy Land? One of the celestial dragons spat, his face contorted with rage. Where are the God Knights and St. Garling? Let them clean this mess up. I don't want to see these invaders. Damn Blaze. I want to skin him alive, cut him into pieces, and feed him to my pets, another older celestial dragon with a little bit of brain shrieked, his voice trembling with anger. They deserve to die 1,000 times for even thinking of invading our land, another one shouted indignantly. The world nobles, watching the revolutionary army and Blaze appear on the screen, gritted their teeth and cursed angrily. Their cruelty and madness were evident, even through their glass masks. The world's strongest man, Blaze. Though they seethed with anger at the sight of him, they had to admit that his name alone made them tremble. Blaze's opposition to the world government had instilled more fear in them than any pirate or rebel ever had. Because of him, no celestial dragon dared travel freely, capture slaves, or indulge in their usual whims. Their unchecked authority and luxury were severely shortened. Food had become scarce, and their indulgences were no longer guaranteed. Why haven't the 5 elder saints dealt with Blaze and the revolutionaries? One celestial dragon demanded, his voice panicked. They should have destroyed these insurgents before they got close to our Holy Land. Kill them all. I've had enough of this trouble. I haven't had ice cream for almost half a month because of them disrupting our supplies, another whined. They valued their lives and comforts above all else, and the thought of losing their luxury filled them with more dread than the prospect of losing their lives. As for the battle between Blaze and the five elders that would determine the future of the world, they didn't care. What does it have to do with them? ZZZ. Blaze's entire figure underwent a transformation as he exuded a blinding white light. His body emitted an ultra-heavy temperature akin to the sun's surface, causing the very air around him to ignite in flames. The ground beneath him melted into molten rock. The heat was so intense that everything within a certain radius began to disintegrate. The world government forces, including Cypher Pole agents and the remaining God Knights, were engulfed by the extreme heat. Even those who attempted to shield themselves with haki found their efforts futile against the overwhelming temperature. They were vaporized instantly, unable to even scream in agony. The five elders, however, struggled with all their might, transforming into their full beast forms. Their skin and muscles disintegrated before regenerating as they resisted with all their strength. Fear filled their hearts. They hadn't expected Blaze fruit power to be so overwhelmingly powerful. If they don't do something, they will really die. Though Blaze didn't unleash his entire strength, he demonstrated most of it, carefully controlling the temperature within a certain distance to avoid incinerating his own people who had gone to capture the celestial dragons. The five elder saints had to act quickly, or their fate was really sealed. As the saying goes, the older the ginger, the spicier it is. At the last moment, combining their Haushiko haki, they formed a dome-shaped black barrier to shield themselves from the super high heat. But Blaze wasn't going to let them do as they pleased. With a mere gesture, Blaze unleashed a wave of scorching white flames that swept across the five saints. The flames burned through their haki barriers, assaulting them directly. Despite their immense power and centuries of experience, the five elders found themselves helpless against Blaze's overwhelming might. Yet, contrary to Blaze's expectations, they did not call for Imu's help. They braced themselves to face death. They screamed in pain as the flames burned their skin and flesh. Overwhelmed by the unimaginable heat, they fell to the ground, their bodies cooked. "You guys stand no chance against me," Blaze chuckled, his tone filled with arrogance. "Unless you have some trump card, this is your end." Blaze was eager to see if Imu would intervene to save them. So, he intensified the heat little by little, preparing to burn them alive. As he had anticipated, Imu intervened. From a distance, a black energy beam shaped like a dragon's maw shot out, swallowing the intense heat within the surroundings. With the heat dissipated, the five elders' bodies began to recover, though the process looked so slow. The live broadcast captured every moment of the battle, broadcasting it to the world. Viewers watched in stunned silence as the seemingly invincible five elders of the world government were nearly burned alive by Blaze's godlike power. Meanwhile, Dragon and others discovered the hiding place of the celestial dragons after some searching. It hadn't been particularly difficult. However, before they could reach their targets, a formidable figure appeared before them. Aramaki, the user of the woodwood fruit, stood in their path. His imposing presence made it clear that he was a strong man. But, they have strength in numbers, so they didn't fear the man. Just as Dragon prepared for the confrontation, Madara stepped forward. "Let me handle this. You guys go on and handle your thing. I'll play with this one." "I was getting bored of this whole protecting thing anyway," Madara said, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. From the man in front of him, Madara sensed a power similar to Hashirama's, the vitality of wood. It somewhat intrigued him. Seeing this, Dragon, Sabo, and the rest of the revolutionary moved forward. Their focus now was getting to the celestial dragons before the final fight break out between Blaze and Imu. "Don't disappoint me, boy. I hope you dance well," Madara commented in his usual style. "Am I being underestimated?" Aramaki uttered, as wooden roots began to sprout and entwine around him, demonstrating his wood abilities. Chapter 274, Final Battle, Blaze vs. Imu. Blaze's eyes narrowed as a figure emerged from the shadows, Saint Nerona Imu. His appearance resembled a humanoid figure, taller than a regular person, but his presence was commanding and exuded an aura of immense power. Imu was clad in a dark red robe, a crown atop his head adorned with 4 sharp, towering spikes. The impossibly long robe trailed behind him like a river of darkness, adding a sense of trepidation to his presence. Despite their grievous injuries, the 5 elder saints immediately struggled to their knees at Imu's arrival. With unwavering loyalty, they placed a hand over their chests, eyes filled with reverence and submission. Without sparing a glance at the 5 elder saints, Imu's gaze focused solely on Blaze. He spoke in a cold and commanding tone, "You possess an intriguing aura. It piques Mu's curiosity." His almond-shaped eyes, with red irises encircled by a thin black ring around the pupils, seemed to pierce through Blaze's soul. But Blaze met Imu's gaze without flinching, a smirk playing on his lips. When someone strong enough to kill you shows up, it's only natural to be curious. He paused for a moment, tilting his head slightly as if in thought. "But I'm curious about something too. Are you male, female, or something else?" Bang! Imu's aura erupted, unleashing a wave of terrifying Hashiko haki, far more menacing than the 5 elders or the Yonko. The sheer force of it sent shockwaves through the air, causing the very ground beneath them to shatter. The 5 elders, their anger flaring to its peak, glared at Blaze. Saint Nushiro stepped forward and spat, "How dare you insult great Imu with such vile words?" "You deserve to die," Imu declared coldly, as a black appendage emerged from behind his form, its arrow-like tip coated in Hashiko haki, exuding black streaks of energy. In an instant, the appendage lashed out at Blaze, aiming his heart with deadly precision. Blaze didn't avoid it. With swift action, he met the attack head-on, his balled fist shrouded by his own Hashiko haki. Boom! The collision of their haki sent shockwaves rippling through the battlefield, the ground beneath them fracturing from the sheer force. For a brief moment, the collision seemed evenly matched, but Blaze's punch was on another level, containing unimaginable power. The sheer force behind Blaze's punch was so immense that the black appendage, enveloped in dark energy, shattered instantly, disintegrating into nothingness upon contact with his raw power. The shockwaves from the punch continued to radiate outward, reducing the surrounding terrain to rubble, and leaving a massive expanse in its wake. Not only that, but the shockwave was also so overwhelming that it blew the golden crown from Imu's head as it fell to the ground without making any sound. Blaze was momentarily speechless, taken aback. "I thought he was unbeatable." Imu's appendage, shattered moments before, began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. Flesh and bones regenerated almost instantly, the speed even quicker than that of the 5 elders. "He's like an immortal. Is this some kind of power beyond this world?" Blaze wondered. At the same time, Imu's eyes narrowed, his expression unreadable. "Mu must admit, you are strong, but that doesn't mean you can oppose me," he said. Without warning, Imu's form began to transform, his humanoid shape twisting and expanding into a massive, nightmarish beast. He changed into a colossal sea serpent dragon, 3 times the size of Kaido's dragon form. Multiple appendages sprouted from his body, each ending in sharp, arrow-like points. Enormous wings unfurled from his back, casting a dark shadow over the merry geos. His long, twisting tail lashed through the air, ending in a devilish arrowhead ignited in black fire. Imu's transformation was terrifying, like a manifestation of a devil beast. His form was so monstrous and was like a living embodiment of chaos and destruction. From Imu, Blaze could sense nothing but the pure presence of a devil. At the same time, the entire world watched in horror as Imu's terrifying form was revealed. Unknowingly, their hearts were gripped by an overwhelming fear of this mysterious figure, whose authority seemed to surpass even that of the 5 elder saints. Without regard for Blaze's thoughts, Imu let out a deep roar, unleashing a torrent of hellfire from his mouth. The black flames were so intense they incinerated everything in their path, resembling the flames of Amaterasu with the ability to consume anything. Facing the attack, Blaze merely snorted. A powerful gravity erupted outward, repelling everything in its path. After that, Blaze and Imu clashed, testing each other's strength and abilities with every strike. Each collision sent shockwaves through the air, crackling with streaks of lightning in a spectrum of colors. The force of their blows shook the very foundations of the Red Line, triggering violent tremors. The sky, once filled with clouds, was now clear as their overwhelming power obliterated everything in its path. Mary Geos was reduced to ruins, with nothing left standing. The Pangea Castle was demolished, and its once majestic walls crumbled into nothingness. The lush gardens were obliterated, and the surrounding buildings disintegrated into dust. Even the red line beneath them couldn't withstand the immense collision. The ground split open, forming a massive crater, with cracks radiating outward like a spider's web. Despite the widespread destruction, Blaze and Imu stood firm, unscathed, as if nothing had happened. Because neither of them was giving their all. After a few minutes of fighting, Blaze realized that he could kill Imu if he struck with everything he had, despite Imu's ridiculous regenerative abilities that made him seem nearly immortal. Blaze had begun to understand Imu's ability. It seemed Imu had acquired some kind of devil power that allowed him to transform into this colossal behemoth and take the form of some rare mythical beast. One of his abilities involved absorbing the energies of devil fruits released by others to enhance his own strength, as his sun fruit ability isn't working on Imu. There was even a possibility that he could absorb Haki. And this final human-devil hybrid form, winged, with multiple arms, a serpentine body, and a tail ending in a flaming arrowhead, was ridiculously powerful. It looked like a very embodiment of a devil. No wonder no one had managed to defeat them in centuries, Blaze mused. But it's not enough to stop me. You stand no chance against me. When all creation is mine alone, how could you ever hope to defeat me? Surrender, and I will grant you immortality, Imu said. I won't say this second time. Blaze sighed. Saint Nerona Imu, you don't understand me at all. I hoped you'd entertain me, but you've disappointed me. Let's end this. Chapter 275, Final Battle, Blaze vs. Imu 2. You seem to know me, Imu asked, surprised by Blaze calling out his full name. How could someone here possibly know his identity? It seems you know something. Without responding, Blaze unleashed his full power. His devil fruit ability suppressed by Imu broke free with unstoppable momentum. Nothing can trap the sun, and nothing can swallow its might, not even the darkness. Blaze's aura intensified as his hair and eyes turned golden, his body emanating an overwhelming heat. He activated a domain-type technique, enveloping several kilometers in a blazing circular radius known as the sun's domain. The overwhelming heat melted everything within the region, rendering Imu's ability to swallow useless. The sun's energy was too potent, too vast to be absorbed. Imu could only absorb the heat within a meter of his body, but even that proved useless as the temperature continued to rise. Little by little, the heat intensified, and the five elders, without Imu's support unable to withstand the extreme temperature, were reduced to ashes. The very structure of the red line began to melt, and Mary Geos, once the center of authority, disintegrated into nothingness. Realizing his power was failing him, Imu muttered in disbelief, "How is this possible?" Panic set in as the temperature surged, and he desperately retreated, trying to escape the scorching inferno of Blaze's domain. But Blaze wasn't about to let him flee. In a flash, he appeared before Imu, his fist blazing with power as he delivered a decisive blow. The overwhelming punch, infused with the full might of his devil fruit ability, Haki, and physical strength, surged toward Imu, intent on crushing him to pieces. Imu defended himself by enveloping his body in a shroud of dark energy. But it was useless. The sheer power of Blaze's strike shattered everything. His Haki, his energy armor, all crumbled under the assault. In an instant, Imu was turned into a beam of light, flung into the melting magma of the red line, disappearing as the once solid land dissolved under the extreme temperature. Crush! Bang! Without hesitation, Blaze unleashed another punch at the spot where Imu vanished, his fist cracking with unimaginable force. The impact shattered the red line, puncturing it deep as the land crumbled under his overwhelming power. Suddenly, Blaze sensed something and looked up. Without warning, a colossal barrage of light beams, each over 100 meters in diameter and numbering 18 in total, descended from the heavens, illuminating the sky and blinding countless spectators. The sheer intensity of the light was overwhelming, casting an otherworldly glow over the red line. Revolutionaries watching from a distance felt a chill run down their spines at the terrifying spectacle. Let's get out of here before their battle reaches us. Our task is complete. It's up to Blaze now, Dragon commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. It truly is an ancient weapon, capable of destroying everything. Madara sighed, standing before the near-dead Aramaki, who was beaten to a state of unconsciousness. Even with the power of the six paths, Madara wasn't entirely confident he could survive such an attack head-on. Some of the weaker people collapsed to the ground in extreme fear, even though they were only watching the scene unfold on a screen. Even the most powerful figures in the world, Sengoku, Garp, Kuzan, Borsalino, Whitebeard, Kaido, Shanks, Rayleigh, and others, felt the sheer terror of the battle. Despite their immense strength, none of them were confident they could survive a direct hit from such a beam. Yet there was Blaze, standing at the epicenter of it all. Ha ha ha. It's over. That man is going to die, a world government loyalist exclaimed in glee. Indeed. The outcome is decided. How could the world government lose to a mere human? With power like this, no one in the world can stand against the world government. A king of a certain kingdom declared, his voice filled with arrogance. After a minute, the people could finally see the scene through the live broadcast. The tremendous destruction had torn a massive hole through the red line, extending all the way to the sea, creating a new passage from the Grand Line to the New World. At the center of the screen, the camera zoomed in on a figure. They saw Blaze's figure hovering in mid-air, completely unscathed. Impossible. How can this be? Everyone wondered, including Imu, who had appeared outside the spot of devastation. Is this the ancient weapon, Uranus? Impressive, but not enough. Blaze said with a hint of disdain as he looked up at the sky, where a massive black shadow loomed behind the clouds. Arrogance. Imu thought, dismissing Blaze's bravado as a mere facade. He believed Blaze had merely escaped by some kind of ability, and he was certain he wouldn't escape a second time. AI. You understand nothing about true power. Watch closely. Your so-called ancient weapon is nothing before me. Blaze chuckled as white flames surged from his body, transforming into a colossal white flame sword that shot upward, stretching toward the sky. With a thought, the flame sword slashed fiercely at the massive shadow above the clouds. Boom! The terrifying power of the flame sword cleaved through the huge shadow, splitting it in two. Without support, the fragments fell into the ground, and with a wave of Blaze's hand, they plummeted below the red line into the sea. The scene was jaw-dropping and left everyone stunned. Imu's expression froze in shock, his eyes wide as he struggled to believe what he saw. Ancient weapon Uranus had been destroyed, cut in half. How was this possible? How could a human possess such terrifying power? See? That's it. Blaze said with disdain, shaking his hand. Impossible, Imu muttered. The strength displayed by Blaze shattered his understanding of reality, making him seem invincible. Nothing is impossible. Blaze declared. What you see as impossible is merely a reflection of your ignorance. Imu's mind couldn't accept the reality. How could I possibly lose? Suddenly, Imu's expression became increasingly ferocious, as if possessed. He rushed toward Blaze, transforming into his behemoth form. Blaze's expression changed as he sensed the transformation in Imu's presence. Without hesitation, a white flaming sword materialized in his hand, radiating an intense heat akin to the sun's surface temperature. Enveloping the sword with natural energy, Blaze aimed it at the advancing Imu. The current Imu radiated an extremely dangerous aura, which urged Blaze to keep his distance. The flaming sword extended at unimaginable speed, piercing through Imu's massive form and sending him far away. As the sword struck his heart, an eerie, devilish shriek erupted from Imu as if an evil entity within him was letting out a final roar. Soon after, the devil's presence vanished. Imu's expression returned to his usual state, but he stared at the wound that refused to heal with an ugly expression. Soon, a long-lost sensation of weakness assaulted him. Imu felt his vitality slipping away. Am I really going to die? Impossible, I was promised. Imu managed to utter these words before succumbing, his vitality completely extinguished. Soon, Imu's entire figure ignited in flames and disintegrated into fly ash, vanishing into the air. It's over, Blaze sighed, his gaze fixed on the sky. Chapter 276, The End. Across the globe, those who had been watching the live broadcast erupted in a mix of shocked exclamations and cries of joy. The scale of the battle left many in stunned silence, struggling to comprehend the power they had just witnessed. Blaze's figure lingered in their minds, the man who had accomplished the impossible, the one who had brought down the world government. To them, his strength was like a god. In the New World, pirates of all calibers were left speechless. He actually did it? What now? As the fleet admiral of the Marines, there's no way he'll let us continue as pirates. It's time to head back to our hometowns. Unbelievable, Shanks muttered, a rare look of respect on his face. He ended an 800-year reign of the world government. Beckman added, if this isn't shocking enough, what he plans to do next will shake the world even more. Since they are friends, Blaze had shared some of his ideas with them not long ago. In Amazon Lily, Hancock watched the battle with tear-streaked cheeks. He did it! At Marine headquarters, Admirals Akiji, Kizaru, and Fujitora exchanged glances, knowing the foundation of their world had just been shattered. It was time to rebuild it into something better. The world government has been defeated. The retired Sengoku spoke in disbelief. This meant the Marines had become the undisputed rulers of the world. Ha ha ha. It's time for the world to change, Garp laughed, feeling somewhat relaxed. Meanwhile, citizens across the world, many who had lived under the world government's oppressive rule, began to cheer. In some islands, people flooded the streets, celebrating the end of the world government's reign. Though many followers of the world government found it hard to accept, the undeniable truth was before them. Blaze-san did it, Sabo breathed, his heart pounding with excitement. Dragon stood silent for a moment before speaking. Now, it's up to us to build a new one. The others nodded in agreement, ready to welcome a brand new world. The next day, Blaze appeared on a live broadcast that reached the entire world. In the wake of the world government's collapse, we will establish a new governmental structure to restore order and stability. The Marines will be the primary force in this new era. He then outlined several reforms regarding pirates. Prohibition of piracy. Starting tomorrow, there will be no more pirates in the sea. If there are, strict action will be taken. Those who were once considered pirates will now be categorized differently under new approaches, adventure groups. The pirates can now apply to be recognized as adventure groups with the Marines as rules. These groups will be allowed to traverse the seas and explore uncharted territories, but their activities will be regulated under strict Marine oversight. Adventure groups are permitted to engage in battles and conflicts only on the sea or in uninhabited lands. They are prohibited from fighting within areas inhabited by civilians to ensure the safety and stability of populated regions. Adventure groups can claim and occupy territories, but they must do so in a manner that does not forcibly occupy or disrupt ordinary people. These territories will be assigned to their adventure group. The Marines will not interfere in territorial disputes among adventure groups. Lastly, criminals who break Marine laws will be pursued by both the Marines and adventure groups. Adventure groups will be required to capture or eliminate sea-based criminal gangs each month according to their strength level. Blaze respects the world as it is, refraining from extreme reforms. His focus remains on enhancing the quality of life for ordinary people. These reforms were implemented to strike a balance between maintaining order and at the same time, allowing the freedom to explore an adventure that had previously been the hallmark of piracy. He hoped these measures would prevent the rise of new criminal gangs while allowing the world to breathe fresh air. Aside from these, Blaze introduced many things that were both welcomed and opposed by some. Some saw it as a necessary step towards a more orderly world, while others worried about the limitations imposed on them. In the end, Blaze aimed to craft a new era where the seas were no longer a lawless frontier but a realm where adventure and exploration could thrive within the bounds of a new societal order. At the heart of the Red Line, a massive gap now stretches across, linking the first half of the Grand Line with the New World. This new passage eliminates the need to navigate through Fishman Island, significantly reducing the associated dangers. Above this gap, a magnificent new marine headquarters has been constructed with the aid of Vegapunk and the latest technology. This marks the establishment of the new marine headquarters. 3 months later, a massive summit happened here, uniting over 90% of the world's kingdoms, including Fishman Island. The discussion went on for many days, creating a new government. A new governmental structure was established to bring order and stability to the world, by introducing united governmental policies all over the world. The new government structure is designed as a provisional system, allowing for adjustments based on real-world effectiveness and public feedback. Over the next 3 years, the structure will be evaluated and modified as needed to better serve the people. Within the Marines, a new Marine inspection team was established to oversee the activities of the new governments and ensure compliance with world policy. This special unit is predominantly composed of members from the Revolutionary Army and is led by a chief inspector. Prominent figures such as retired admirals or notable individuals like Garp and Sengoku are eligible to serve as chief inspectors. After a year, the world had transformed for the better, adapting to the new policies and embracing the changes. Amazon Lily. Blaze and Hancock were in a loving embrace, watching the live broadcast of the adventure battle between the red-haired pirates and the 100 Beast pirates. Hancock's belly was slightly swollen, a clear sign of her pregnancy. Blaze opened his system panel after a long time. Name, Blaze Hunt. Occupation, Marine. Constitution, 100, Half-God. Devil Fruit, 100. 0, Sun God. Hockey, 100.0. Free Attribute Points, 5.0. After dethroning the world government, Blaze received system rewards, plus 5.0 free attributes plus 1 lottery draw. In the lottery draw, Blaze received a new reward, a World Merge card. According to the system description, using this reward will trigger significant changes in the world. These changes could involve merging 2 worlds into one or an invasion from another world. After some thought, Blaze closed his system panel. He didn't plan to use the reward, at least not for now. That wraps up this part of What If Transmigrated into One Piece and became a Marine. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Quick reminder. The series What If Transmigrated into One Piece and became a Marine is now on hold, since we've at the end of the story. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these 3 fanfics. What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? What if a venerated soul reincarnated in Danmachi world? What if transmigrated and taking over Ichigo's body? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.